Alright, so for this assignment, I'm going to define verbal cues and then give examples of how they can be used for skill learning or relearning situations. So, verbal cues are short, simple words or phrases that are used to guide movements and help someone learn or relearn a skill. They're designed to focus a person's attention on the most important part of the movement without giving too much information all at once. So it can be described as for this in this chapter as effective verbal cues should be concise, easy to remember, and direct attention to either important environmental information or key movement components. This is important because when people are learning a new skill, too many instructions can overload attention and memory, and it can just be overwhelming for the athlete. As you know, everyone hates having information thrown at them at once. So, for example, in basketball, shooting, a coach might use a cue, elbow under the ball, instead of explaining every intricate detail about arm position. This short phrase reminds the player or athlete of proper shooting form. Another example can be the volleyball serving could be a reach high. So this cue helps the player focus on contacting the ball at the highest point for better power and control. And in sprinting, a coach may say, drive your knees, or something like that. This cue can remind the athlete to generate force and improvement running mechanics. Verbal cues are also very useful relearning situations, such as physical therapy after an injury. If someone is relearning how to walk after a knee surgery, a therapist might use a cue heel first, then toe, so they can just land on the heel and then just land flat on their feet. And this helps the patient focus on normal walking patterns. So, for example, for someone working on balance after an ankle injury, a cue like stand tall can just remind them to maintain posture and stability while performing that action. Another benefit of verbal cues is that they help shift attention towards movement outcomes rather than overthinking body parts. So, for instance, instead of saying "move your arms faster," a tennis coach might say brush up the ball." And when teaching a topspin, this often leads to smoother and more natural movements. So overall, verbal cues are valuable because they just simplify learning and improve focus and make instructions easier to remember and comprehend. Whether in sports practice, coaching, or rehabilitation, the right cue makes skill learning faster and more effective.